because I'm really sick of hearing there's nothing wrong with you. I don't want to go into all that because there's something wrong or I wouldn't be doing all this, right? Okay. Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a newbie, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because you're going to want to be notified of all these new videos I got coming up in this series. We're talking adrenal system, we're talking adrenal fatigue. Even if you don't have adrenal fatigue, some of this stuff might be helpful for you. I stumbled across this book actually as an audiobook first. It's called The Adrenal Reset Diet. I will put the title of the book as well as the author. It's Dr. Alan Christensen. I am not a doctor. All of the information that I'm going to be talking about is coming from this book. It's been an eye-opener to say the least. So let's get started. Science says that losing weight is 80% diet, 20% exercise. We've all heard the calories in, calories out. You know, if you eat less, exercise more, then you're going to lose weight. But what if there was more to it than that? What if I told you that this doctor had a better explanation for why this might not work for some of us? What if the reason why you're struggling to lose weight has something to do with hormone balance or hormone imbalance? What if the reason you're having trouble losing weight is because your hormonal rhythms are all off cattywampus? Specifically, stress hormones like cortisol. I don't know if you guys have heard of cortisol before. I think the only time I had heard of cortisol before reading this book and doing some research on it was for some diet pill or something on TV, oh, cortisol, belly fat. Well, it is a thing, and it is related to belly fat. If that's the case, you reset your adrenal rhythms, your stress hormones, and your cortisol pattern, and voila, it's fixed, right? Easy. You're probably thinking at this point, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what this is going to involve. I don't know what it means. I don't really know what cortisol is. Well, I'm going to break it down for you, and we're going to do this together. First things first, I introduced his book, but I want to say Dr. Alan Christensen. He is a naturopathic doctor who specializes in endocrinology, specifically thyroid disorders. I've mentioned before on here that I have had some testing done personally. I don't technically have hypothyroidism or an underactive thyroid to the point where I would need medicine, and I'm actually very grateful for that because I don't want to be on medicine. My thyroid is considered sluggish. I believe this doctor is on to something. We're going to just refer to him as Dr. C. So in Dr. C's book, his foreword is written by another doctor named Sarah Gottfried. She talks about how fat is a survival response from our DNA. When we're running crazy and we're stressed out, our fat storage genes are turned on. And that wreaks havoc on our hormones, specifically cortisol. When survival mode disrupts our adrenal rhythms, we gain weight. And as if that wasn't bad enough, the food restricting diets and the over-exercising can make this all worse. It deepens the survival response that our body has. Our bodies freak out that famine is near and our metabolism just shuts down. So like when you have 82,000 things going on, you're juggling all these plates at once. Life stressors, work, kids. You're trying to juggle all these things simultaneously while trying to do all this rigorous exercise program and rigorous diet, restricting and all that. It's going to end up in a big crash. That crash is when our body goes into survival mode. It says, what's going on? I don't know. All I'm going to do is hold on to everything because this is craziness. Dr. Gottfried explains how she discovered her own healing, that the root cause of her fatness was her stress-crazed life and broken adrenal rhythms. In her words, her belly fat stored No. Her belly fat stored, quote, as if I was an Irish farmer in the midst of a famine and didn't know when my next meal would be. She was robbed of happy brain chemicals like serotonin, and it aged her and her DNA prematurely. So back to calories in, calories out. Why is that concept failing for so many of us? It opens up this can of, it could be insulin, you could develop insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, which I have, by the way. It means your cells can't respond properly to insulin. So your body starts pumping more, or it tries to pump more. So because of that, the ripple continues. The adrenals jump in, trying to help control your blood sugar, and then your cortisol goes out of control. Cortisol then tells your body, you're in trouble, store some fat for a rainy day. We know what happens after that. According to Dr. Gottfried, and I just mentioned this, so I am complete agreement with her on this, mainstream medicine doesn't believe in adrenal dysregulation. I can speak from experience with this, for being tested multiple times throughout my life for, usually when you're overweight and you go to the doctor and you're having problems, the first thing they want to do is test all your levels, your thyroid. I've had my thyroid levels tested so many times, I don't even, and every time they come back and say, oh, it's fine, it's fine. Well, it's because on their scales, they have a range. So, if your free T3, T4 levels are this, then it's in a normal range. Well, for some people, maybe that's not quite right. And that's what I'm finding out about me, and that's why I am totally into this concept and this idea. I was sick of leaving those doctors' offices crying that all they basically said was I was lazy and I didn't work out hard enough and I was eating too much junk. I was sitting around the couch eating bonbons all day. I was so sick of hearing that. So this is awesome that I have something to grab onto to say, you know what, you're not losing it. Something to confirm that it's not for lack of trying and hard work on my part. In mainstream medicine, they will say your adrenals are either fine or they're completely failing. There's no middle ground, and that's where the problem is for some of us. How do we start dipping into this vat of information? These foreign concepts that are fairly untouched ways of thinking as far as our weight loss goes. This is even more important to learn how to deal with this to keep the weight off once it comes off. The most important component to all this is to have a good cortisol slope. So that's basically your cortisol levels and how they are throughout the day, starting in the morning, and where does that slope go? I actually had my cortisol tested. If you are really interested in doing this, I highly suggest it, especially if you can relate to some of the things I'm talking about, having problems and being overweight most of your life. It's a kind of a good thing to get tested so you know where you're starting from. And I'm not going to lie, it's not a glamorous kind of test. It does take all day, but you do it at home, and it involves spitting into certain containers throughout the day spaced out, and then you send them in the mail to a lab for analysis. So it's not the most fun test to do, but I definitely was glad that I did it, so I kind of know where I'm at and have confirmed that I do have this problem. The battle for me all these years has been figuring out what's the problem, because once you know what the problem is, then you can try and learn how to fix it. When you're grabbing at straws and you're trying everything under the sun, it's very frustrating when you don't get results. So I am super excited to be going through this and doing this with you guys, because I'm learning just like you are right now, and I can't wait to keep sharing this information, especially if you carry weight around your midsection that is directly linked to the cortisol, the belly fat. So talk to your doctor and see if you can get that test done, and then you'll see where you're at. In my case, I found out that my cortisol slope, it was very high in the morning. It was revving up too high. We'll get into more of why that is and how we can fix it and all that, but it's a lot of information for one video, so that's why I'm breaking it into a series. But I'm going to give you guys a chance to kind of mull this over, maybe start looking into the cortisol thing, and this is going to be the first video of a series of videos where we talk adrenals. There's going to be all kinds of new concepts coming out, at least they're new for me, and that's why I'm super excited to share them with you, because maybe you guys can relate. Maybe you're just so frustrated. Maybe what you're doing isn't working. Maybe you want more of a long-term fix because you've been overweight your whole life, and the quick diets and the countless hours of exercise just isn't working, or it's just too draining. When you stop, all the weight comes back. This is what we want to fix. So I hope you guys tune in next time and stick with me on this and see if any of these tips can help you. And please subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification button, and definitely comment below, because I want to hear your stories too if you want to share them with me. And let's do this together. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye. I don't know. We'll just start talking and then we'll see what happens. Maybe for some of us, not for somebody's crying already. Really? I said that backwards. Right. I don't know why I really had to say all that. If the reason you're having, ooh.